I'll put air quotes around book, because we published it at the school, called Geeks Bearing Gifts, about, okay, smartass, what are we going to do about journalism? And I argued for a relationship-based strategy, which I still argue for, and that's part of the Guardian thing. But in there, where I was absolutely dead wrong was I saw blogs, God bless them, as the cinder block of a new foundation of local media ecosystems. I was wrong. Why? Well, first, journalists are bad business people. Second, we don't like it. We don't like to go out and sell and run things. And third, programmatic came in and changed even the structure of advertising at that level. So even your little blog could get ads, but it could get a tiny bit of ads because you were now stuck in this huge scaled ad business. It's the last gasp.
0.3 cents a click.
Of scale, right. So it's really hard to build something in that world where I think, again, it's the last gasp. You take something like Quartz, but they've never taken an IAB ad. They only do their native stuff. I think they're one of the few that do native decently. Are they worth a fortune? No. They got bought. Fine. They're gonna keep going. Mike was do-gooder. Upworthy was do-gooder gone wrong.
Yeah. Upworthy's still around, I think.
Not really.
I mean, no one likes that.
And AI's gone. Business Insider, I think, is being ruined at Springer because the scale expectation is huge.
The amount of their model that's reposting old posts with a new timestamp. They did a write-off of one of my features once and then re-promoted it. And they started going round and they'd taken out the credit.
Oh, that's bad.
It was an ICANN feature. It's like, I was the only person in the world who was in that room. I was like, you didn't get this yourself.
Yep. So it's not just VC, it's not just technology and the platforms, it's simply an age of abundance.
Do you think we need models that aren't VC though?
We need a mix, absolutely.
VC has much more power than anyone except like nerds, really, right? Like, people think of internet and power and they think of Mark Zuckerberg and Larry Page, etc. Like, that's not really representative. Obviously, their companies it is, but overall, I mean, these VC houses that no one's really heard of and who are investing rich people's money, like people who had money before, they're kind of a little bit the people behind the curtain, right?
But it's the same exact true in public markets.
Oh yeah.
But I don't. I
mean, a lot of my argument is online is the same as offline.
Right.
In terms
of
power balance.
Amen. Yeah. And you and Emily next can go sing the Internationale and be all happy together, right?
I do know the words.
Yes. I just think it's a reality of where we are, but I don't think.
Just let me check something.
Sure.
Battery life. This is why we have two.
You have a new battery?
So yeah, this was fully charged. So don't worry, that's recording. So
you want to look at it?
Yep, it's good.
I don't think it's only a charged battery. It's not a battery battery.
It's removable, but
it's only charged. Okay.
Yeah. I fully charged that. That's mad, isn't it?
I don't have any charger with me.
No, and annoyingly, it's USB-A, and I have a MacBook Pro. Gotta love Apple.
So VC, I think, is part of the ecosystem, and I think in the early days of any ecosystem, VC is going to be disproportionately powerful. And then the public markets take on, and then inevitably companies die. I mean, the average life of a company is not that long, even in the public markets. The venerable Time Inc. is gone. Look at what's happening with every magazine company out there.
Condé Nast is a bit nasty right now.
My good friend Wolfgang Blau. You know Wolfgang, right?
Yeah, I was saying I love Wolfgang.
Yeah, Wolfgang's great. He's great.
Ended up on a pub crawl with him a couple of weeks ago. It's that funny thing where you sort of then remember, oh yeah, he is the president of Condé Nast.
He's Wolfgang.
He's my old mate from The Guardian.
He's one of the people I respect most in our days.
Smart.
So anyway, VC's part of it. I think you see the beginnings of a new model. Well, no, you see the return of a very old model at Patreon. Right?
That's not really worked as people hoped, though.
What was wrong there was the hope. You have to bring a tribe. You have to not have the ego to think that everything you do is worth paying for. You have to recognize you're in a competitive marketplace. But it does support a lot of people. It supports a lot of dumb things like watching kids play games, but hey, the market
I'm not guessing. The thing that worries me about Patreon as a model for individual journalists is I know if I want to make a lot of money, I've just got to write about how Russia's stealing everything, how Facebook's going to destroy you, Cambridge Analytica are the most nefarious thing, vote Lee stole an election. I've got to tell you the thriller version of it. Whereas if you want real reporting, I'm going to upset my fans.
There's a moral hazard in any revenue stream. Any revenue stream.
That's a particular. You have the same risks with a membership model with The Guardian, like a supporter model.
Yes, you do.
But for an individual journalist and individual fans, if I turn around and say, you know what, Cambridge Analytica had nothing to do with Brexit, I'm going to lose revenue.
Yeah.
And because I'm not funded that way, I can say that.
Right.
But
yeah, I think the slide of the New York Times, I think it's still a great newspaper, but I think it's sliding, is in some measure because of its shift to a consumer revenue focused model. Again, I go back to so I'm reading right now all the things that I'm reading. So
just for the recorder to remind me, The Rise of the Public in Enlightenment Europe.
Really, it's actually very good. So it goes through a sequence of the creation of the reading public, right? You have scribes, one scribe, one book, one patron, almost a year. That's that. And then from 1450 till about 1800, it was about patrons and it was about a very limited market. When you get to 1800, greater literacy, improved technology, you have the beginnings of a reading public, of a market. Right? So that market came along. People couldn't afford the books; they were still too expensive. It cost as much as a week's labor. So you had lending libraries start, and you had also subscription models start, where some authors made a lot of money by pre-charging the subscription. It worked well in England. In France, the first person to do it majorly, I just read. The problem was the book they came out with was shit. And so he killed the model. And then Alan Rusbridger would remind us that eventually advertising is what freed us from the conflict of interest of patronage and gave us independence. And now we're losing. So we're starting through another cycle here of the search for a business model.
The sine wave, isn't it?
And I'm going to remind that it's 1474 in Gutenberg years.
Yeah. So just sort of, again, hopping, but this is a little bit back to is the internet to America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going out and talking to ICANN again next week, which is why I have to go to LA. Why are they based there? But there's kind of quite a lot of challenges to that model. Like, firstly, there's, should we move it to the UN, as Russia and China want, should we move it around? Europe's not massively happy with ICANN. I have sympathies with them, but do we actually have to build something, a governance model that makes people at least feel like it has more control outside of the US?
So,
because, the risk or some people like it. The idea of a federated internet?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what the answer is. I some years ago, Sarkozy held a big thing in Paris with the future of the internet and such, and Maurice Levy had run it, and I went, and Maurice made the mistake of calling on me. I wasn't on the list, and so I challenged Sarkozy, and I quoted somebody, I think the CTO of the Veterans Administration in the U.S. at the time, talked about the internet as the eighth continent, and Sarkozy quite liked that because you could see in his mind he was planting the flag of France in that continent and claiming it.
Yeah.
If you go back to John Perry Barlow trying to declare the independence of the internet, is it possible, and this goes back to your core question about the platforms and about who runs the internet, could and should the internet have governed itself? Extra government, outside of government. I don't know if it was possible. Um,